Assalamu alaikum i dobro pozdravovits na moj kanal. My legal birth name is Language Simp, and I am a hyperpolyglot gigachat alpha male who is very attractive to every woman and man on the planet. 2025 has just begun, which means it's a great time to learn a new language and to finally stop being the monolingual beta you were in 2024. But there are so many juicy and irresistible languages on the planet, so how will you choose which one to study? Well, look no further, because today I'll be sharing with you my unbiased picks for the top 10 best languages to learn in 2025. But before I begin, my ebook, The Hyperpolyglot Handbook, a gigachat's guide to language learning, will be available for purchase on January 31st. Reading it will unlock your inner polyglot Chad and set you up for success this year, regardless of which language you choose to learn. So head over to languagesimp.com to sign up for the waiting list. And without further ado, давайте начнем. At the number 10 spot, we have the Danish language. It should come as no surprise to you guys that I am a simp for Danish. It's clearly the greatest Nordic language, and it flawlessly alphamogs Swedish and Norwegian, no questions asked. It's the goofiest yet most charming sounding lingo I can think of, and I hear that living in Denmark is like heaven on earth. And I believe that 2025 will be a huge year for Danish, mainly because the United States is heavily flirting with buying Greenland, which is a part of Denmark for some reason. I wonder what the native Greenlandic people think about that, being traded from one colonizer to another, but hey, that's neither here nor there. I'm not a party pooper. If the USA purchases Greenland, Danish-speaking DLC will become a lot more accessible to us freedom-loving Americans, and we could probably even gentrify, move to Greenland and speak the language. Danish is low on the list because despite being a part of Denmark, Greenland only has like 50,000 people, and only about 12% of them speak Danish, which means we already have more Danish speakers than Greenland here in the US. Coming in hot at the number 9 spot, we have Vietnamese. Vietnamese is by far the most underrated language on this list. For some reason, Vietnamese is constantly slandered by the language elites and monolingual beta kissless virgins online who love to call it the ugliest language on the planet. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. I admit that it's a really jarring language at the start, but it's an acquired taste, and I promise you will love it over time. I went to Vietnam in 2024, and I've studied the language for a few months, and it is the greatest introduction to Asian lingos imaginable. If you plan on collecting Asian lingos, this is the best one to start with. It has tones, but they're denoted on top of the words, which are written in the American alphabet. It's so noob-friendly. The DLC is epic, and Vietnam is modernizing rapidly. For example, the first metro in Ho Chi Minh City just opened in late 2024, so it's a great time to start learning it. The NPCs from Vietnam are so kind, and spending a few weeks in their country radicalized me. It's a very cheap country too. Here, I'll teach you your first word. Yeah, there's a ton of traffic in Vietnam, but it's fun to dodge motorbikes like Frogger, and I only almost died like 8 times. At the number 8 spot, we have the French language, and allow me to warn you that yes, learning French in 2025 will make you gay. But it's 2025. The French language is dead-ass more polarizing than American politics. People typically fall into one of two camps. They either think that French is the most sophisticated, high-class, and sexy language on the planet, or they think it's downright hideous. I personally love it and learned it, and specifically the Québécois variant has been growing on me like a cyst in recent months. But screw my opinion. Objectively, Québécois French DLC is on the rise. Justin Trudeau recently announced that he will be resigning, and therefore Canada will be quite volatile in 2025. So if Quebec is ever gonna seize the moment and get leur indépendance, it's now. And if that happens, Quebec will stop being DLC hidden away in a big Anglophone country, and it will become new standalone content that will make its language shine on a global scale. Vive le Québec libre. And I guess there's also a chance that Canada could become the 51st state, which means we could all flock to Quebec for that sweet, juicy, comprehensible input. I guess don't vive le Québec libre. And if you want to learn French or another language this new year, you should check out one of my favorite language learning platforms that I'm proud to have as the sponsor of today's video, Lingoda. Lingoda is an online language school that offers effective and affordable classes in French as well as German, English, Business English, Spanish, and Italian. And right now you could get up to 45 free class credits in your first 3 months by clicking on the link in the description and signing up for Lingoda Flex before January 31st. Plus, if you use my code LanguageSimp10, you could get an additional 10% discount. Lingoda is the best website for language language classes because the class sizes are super small, maximum 5 people, which means that everyone gets a ton of personal attention and feedback from the native level certified teachers. They're incredibly interactive. You can book classes 24/7 and you can sort them based on your level as well as the topics you want to discover. And with the Lingoda Flex program, you can choose your own learning journey and select how many classes you want to do in a month. And there's a free 7-day trial which will allow you to try 3 group classes or 1 one-on-one class. I've used Lingoda and I think it's great. It's perfect for someone who likes the structured learning environment of a classroom but also appreciates the flexibility of self-study. Click the link in the description to get 10% off and up to 45 free private classes by signing up today and using code LanguageSimp10. At the number 7 spot, we have Spanish. And first of all, I'll just say, come on bro, it's 2025 and you haven't learned Spanish yet? SMH my head, you gotta get at least A2 this year. Spanish and Chinese are the languages everyone and their mother thinks will overtake English, which is hard to deny when you look at their DLC. But Xiaoma already learned Chinese, so you're stuck with Spanish. Thank God there are plenty of resources, mainly Dora the Explorer. I've been told my whole life that the USA will eventually become a Spanish-speaking country, and please, can we make that happen faster? I already learned it and I want to speak it. Open that border. Also, a lot is going on in the Spanish-speaking world. Mexico got its first female president, which is good. El Salvador is safe now, so if you want to pay for your tacos with Bitcoin, you could go there. But the real gem of 2025 is Argentina, a country ran by this dude with the most diabolical sideburns ever, Javier Milei. I recently learned about the craziest cheat code in Argentina. Basically, regardless of where you're from, you can go to university in Argentina for free, and they have some of the best in the world. All you have to do is pass a B2 exam in Mexican, and you could easily do that in 2025, even if you were blind, deaf, and dead. At the number 6 spot, we have the Turkish language. I'm just really starting to get turkey pilled. I feel like all the Turkic languages are criminally underrated. They sound so unique compared to anything else in the world, and obviously Turkish is the gateway drug to the entire language family. Ultimately, we should all learn Uzbek, but all the good resources to learn it are in Turkish, so we should learn that first. I am an extremely high testosterone male, and because of that, I am steadily balding. The way to fix this is to book a ticket on Turkish Airlines and get a Turkish hair replacement in Istanbul. I don't need it right now, but I will in the not so distant future, so if you're in the same boat as me, it's better that we start preparing now. If we shock the doctor in his native tongue, we'll probably get a discount on our hair. Also, when I hear a Turkish person speak like this dude, they ooze Riz, and the DLC that comes along with this lingo is amazing. And I get the sense that Turkish is really satisfying to speak since it's agglutinative and you can combine words and make all these long, big caterpillar words. A simple example is the following. To say in Istanbul, you say İstanbul'da. That's so new and refreshing to me. If you're depressed or hate your life, starting to observe and understand the world through Turkish this year in 2025 will cure you. But the most important thing is that learning Turkish will allow you to easily troll Greek people, which I hear is going to be huge in 2025. Smacking us in the face at number 5, we have the Polish language. This is such an obvious one. Polish is a moderately sized language with a modest amount of NPCs who speak it across some of the best DLC in the universe. It's a gorgeous Slavic language, and it doesn't suffer from the 2 big problems that all other Slavic languages suffer from. Slavic lingos typically 1 are either written in the Cyrillic alphabet, which is scary and looks alien and hurts my eyes, or 2 are barely spoken by any NPCs. But Polish is written in the Indonesian alphabet, and it's spoken by one of the people groups with the most culture in the Milky Way galaxy. However, the main reason that Polish is a good language to learn in 2025 is that it's a very safe investment. I know so many people who learned Latin just for the Roman Empire to ultimately implode and for the language to go extinct. And I also have friends who learned ancient Belgian only for Belgium to turn into whatever it is today. With Polish, you don't need to worry about that. They've been through some shit and they've always persevered. So learning Polish this year is guaranteed to unlock you communication DLC with a boatload of NPCs this year and forever. Plus, I was in an easy Polish video in 2024. Polish is impossible, but hey, I didn't say you needed to reach fluency this year. At the number 4 spot, we have Portuguese. Portuguese is the exact same language as Spanish, but spicier, and I put it higher on the list because it's better. You can ignore Portugal, but Brazil is one of the greatest countries on the planet with the freaking Amazon rainforest and gorgeous politicians. Brazilian port sounds amazing, it's easy to learn, and its influence is only going to skyrocket this year, especially since it's the leader of the international alliance known as BRICS. Well, it's the first letter of the acronym, so it technically leads it. But the real reason why Port is a great language to learn right now is because the number of speakers is exploding like Cybertrucks. The country with the second highest birth rate in the universe after Niger is Angola, which is a Lusophone country in Africa. Lusophone means Portuguese speaking for some reason. So in 20 to 30 years, the world is going to have a ton of Gen Beta Port speaking NPCs, so 2025 would be a great year to start learning it. Plus, if you learn Port before Mexican, you'll learn Mexican really fast. It doesn't really go the other way around though for some reason, so just trust me on that. If you want to speedrun being like me, or better yet, Kaufman, you'll learn Port first. Actually, I have no idea if Steve Kaufman learned Port first. I certainly didn't, but you know, I'm wise beyond my years, and that's why I'm telling you to learn Port first. Ein! Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have German. German is a cult classic. It's one of the most popular languages for learners to study, and it really shows. And because it's so popular, it's a great language to learn in 2025. Who knows how long it'll be popular for? I have never seen a lingo with such fantastic resources available and just general hype surrounding it. Next month in February, Germany will have its elections, and it's an interesting race, to say the least. I don't really know what to think about the future of other German-speaking DLC like Austria and Switzerland. Well, I was robbed in Switzerland. Not literally robbed, but I paid like 70 euros for a Five Guys burger. What the heck is that? Not euros, what do they use? Eastern Belgium will always be good German-speaking DLC though. Also, I've been to a few international polyglot events in different countries, and let me tell you, anyone who's anyone speaks German. It deadass feels more like the lingua franca in those circles than American, so if you want to be taken serious in 2025, you better learn German. Even though it's the most popular Germanic language, I think it's the most difficult one, so it will set you up to easily learn Dutch, Faroese, and all the Nordic lingos in 2026 and beyond. Just please learn a silly dialect like Bavarian or Badish. I'm so sick of hearing Hoch! Deutsch. Oh, that's Coming in at number 2, we have Korean, which is a language I said I will never learn in a recent video, and that's most likely true. But I said this list would be unbiased. Korean is probably the least popular of the big 3 Asian lingos that Western learners simp over, but it certainly has a cult following. It can sound pretty good, and I blast twice on the radio from time to time while speeding through school zones. Korean is an excellent language to learn in 2025 because a lot is happening in South Korea. The president recently went a little cuckoo, kind of like that guy who organized Kony 2012. Does anyone remember that? Basically, the president randomly declared martial law, which tanked the price of the South Korean won. Therefore, Korean tutors and courses will be really cheap this year. And if you want to travel there and study, or just visit to shock natives, everything will be a lot cheaper. Not to mention, BTS will be done with their military service this year, and Squid Game 2 just came out. Dang, that first episode was good. I didn't watch anymore. Plus, you never know what Lil Kimmy is scheming. Maybe 2025's the year of North Korea. Before I unveil my pick for the number 1 best language to learn in 2025, here are a few honorable mentions. Albanian. I can't really explain it, but I just have this gut feeling that Albania will rule the world one day, and every day, that day gets closer and closer. Braille. The gnomes in my walls are slowly making me blind and causing all these eye problems, so I'm gonna have to learn Braille, and they told me that they're coming to your house next. Romanian. Romanian's just an underrated language, and there are Romanian elections this year which could change some things and shake it up. Everything other than Hindi in India. India is massive, diverse, and really cool, so in 2025, could we please show some love to their minority languages? But at the number 1 spot, we have... Come on, man, you already know what I'm gonna say. It's predictable at this point, but my goodness am I hyped about it. Dutch. Goedemorgen, Dutch is the best language to learn in 2025. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to buy my ebook on January 31st. Just kidding, it's Arabic. Of course it's Arabic. If you've watched any of my other videos, I'm pretty sure this one will come as no surprise to you. First of all, just look at the map of all the DLC you unlock when you study Arabic. Which other language gives you that much bang for your buck? It's so diverse, and this diversity means that there will be something for everyone, literally everyone. The countries and dialects all have completely different vibes and cultures to explore. I've recently been falling in love with the Lebanese dialect. Leili Taid, Leili Taid, Leili, Leili Taid. And Syria is going through an update right now, and they have one of the most beautiful dialects. You could also learn modern standard Arabic and be understood by everyone. There's no wrong way to do it. Learn Omanian, learn Yemenis, learn Moroccan. Oh my goodness, that is really cool. I would imagine learning them all. Can you imagine dedicating the next 10 years of your life to this? I just think that if you invest in Arabic this year, you're going to see crazy returns in the near future. Who knows what's going to go on in the Arabic-speaking world and what kind of crazy advancements are going to happen all across it. It's just so huge, you can't even put it all in one box. It's spoken by so many different countries. What other, I guess Spanish is kind of that popular among different countries, but it's not as cool. Ayn, you know what I mean? There's no ayn in Spanish. Hola, estoy haciendo caca. Estoy haciendo caca. It's sad, but a lot of people, at least in my country, have a bit of a negative view of Arabic. So you could join me in helping to change that, and we'll be ahead of the masses when everyone finally realizes how awesome it is. I need to improve my Arabic in 2125 because I am really hoping this year I finally will make it to an Arabic-speaking country and order a big bake from El Bake. And 2025 will be the year that I finally learn how to pronounce Ain, Qa, and Ha. Especially Ha. I still can't do that one. Ain and Qa are not bad, I hear from you guys. Tell me that. It's not that bad. Do you agree with my list? Probably not, so please, if you don't mind, take the time to write out your list in the comments. Also, don't forget that my ebook, The Hyperpolyglot Handbook, A GigaChad's Guide to Language Learning, comes out on January 31st. Head over to languagesimp.com to sign up for the email waiting list.